welcome up Lorraine. She's a guest speaker, and I'd like to just give a little bit of an introduction. The first Toastmasters Club Lorraine joined was the Nike Club in Beaverton, Oregon, back in 2003. She has been hooked on Toastmasters ever since. She's currently a member of Top Oil Rock Club in Jacksonville, Florida. She's also serving as an area governor, finishing up her final requirements towards her distinguished Toastmaster. Today, Dr. Lorraine, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, Haataia, is honored to be here at UNLV to speak about green meetings in Vegas. Lorraine is Advanced Communicator Gold, Advanced Leader Bronze. Please help me welcome up Lorraine Haataia.
So who here has ever stayed in a hotel? How many of you who ever stayed in a hotel really think about it before you leave the hotel? I think I'll turn off the lights. There are a few in the room. Anybody in here a hotel administration major, something in the hotel industry? Anybody?
I work in a hotel.
You work in a hotel? That counts. Most people probably don't turn off their lights. I'm sure that we could find that out. Well, that's exactly what brings me here this week. I'm staying in the Luxor. My husband's here for the IBM conference. It brought 9,000 people to town, and it is very interesting. Did you know, in this week's edition of Newsweek magazine, IBM is, so they have stories in here about the 40 top green companies in the United States. Where do you think IBM is on the list?
First one.
3. And it's probably easier for a tech company, isn't it? They don't have a lot of waste and so forth. Now, in the world, IBM is, take a guess, where do you think they are in the top, of all the world's global green companies, where do you think IBM is?
Number 1.
They are 1. Is that amazing?
Yes.
Now, I can say my husband works from home office. Is that green or is that green? What kind of commute is that? Right, a little bit of walking and there you are, right at work. Is that awesome or what? What's interesting though is here we are with the greenest company in the world, IBM, that brought us here into town. And what hotel do you think that they put us in? I already told you that.
Yes.
What hotel should we be in Vegas?
Venetian.
The Venetian?
City Center.
City Center? Which part of City
ARIA.
Center?
ARIA.
You got it. The ARIA. Did you know that the ARIA is the world's first largest, it's the largest in the world, LEED certified building, right here in Vegas. You guys have it. You guys have so many things in Vegas. But what's interesting is, and second to the ARIA, does anybody know what else is super green here in Vegas?
Springs Preserve.
I need help pronouncing this one, but V-D-A-R-A, what's the
Vidara.
Vidara, okay. So that is another one, is also LEED certified, and a lot of the LEED certified buildings are newer anyway, so some of the older buildings have a big challenge because they'd have to go in and retrofit and change a lot of things out. But do you know what LEED is? How many people know what LEED is? LEED is a construction kind of thing that they do, and it actually stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And these are things that they do when they're actually, it's, like I said, it's easier to do when you're building something than to go back and do renovations and retrofit it. And I understand from Timo that you actually have some LEED certified buildings right here on campus at UNLV too, so that's really cool. But I do want to tell you about green meetings. You are all going to be, probably already have been to many meetings, and you're going to attend many meetings, and in some cases you may be involved in setting up meetings in different places. So I'd like to give you I'd like to plant some seeds in you to ask some questions, and when you're on a committee, to have a little toolbox that you can reach into to make your meetings a little bit more green, or wherever you're going to say. When I say meetings, it could be like meetings and conventions and exhibits, all the way down to having a meeting like this. And you know what I notice in this room? Usually when I look around a room this size, there's at least someone with a styrofoam cup. I don't see any in here, so your campus must be a little bit more green. There's paper with Starbucks. Starbucks, by the way, is on the list too. They're pretty green. I myself have a plastic bottle, and we've got some plastic bottles in here which aren't the greatest, but anyway. Something else, just for some background, the Convention Industry Council actually has some standards out, and they have specific measurable goals. There are 9 of them, and it's things like the accommodations, the AV equipment. Some AV equipment burns a lot more electricity than others. How they set up exhibits. My husband, years ago, he's been with IBM for quite a few years, but years ago, before he went to a conference, he would ship big monitors. He would pack boxes of little giveaways. You know these things you get at conferences that, you know, you get these little clickers and flashlights and keychains and all this stuff. They ship it all to the conference, and then they give you a big bag that you can lug around with your big notebook, conference thing and everything. Well, this conference is so different. They are going way more green. So actually on his iPhone is the schedule. Now, not everybody has an iPhone, so they also print it out. They used to have big notebooks like that for the conferences. Now it's just a little thing. Anyway, it's changing. But I'd like to give you a few tools if you'd like a little more information. One is www.greenerhotels.com. So even if you're traveling personally, you can go on to greenerhotels.com and you can find hotels to book that are going to be doing more green things. Now, of course, the ARIA, Palazzo, and Vidar are on this list in Vegas. Those are your top 3 here. But this is a self-assessment. They decide for themselves on this one. So this one is not necessarily the best. There is another one, though, called greenkeyglobal.com. And they actually not only try to do environmental things, but they try to save money as well. Going green should save money, at least in the long run. Here's another one, ecorooms.com. Now this one is mostly the United States. It's kind of a small player, but I'd like you to just kind of have your radar on that anytime you're thinking about traveling or whatever, look for these. You'll see little symbols on their websites and so forth. So just kind of be alert for it. And here's another one that's big and global. It's called greenglobe.com. And this does not only certification, training, and education, but they also help these green hotels to market themselves. So greenglobe.com. And finally, if you really want a lot more information, there is a nonprofit professional association called GMIC, Green Meeting Industry Council. And they actually have books and people that will come out and talk to companies about how they can make their meetings and their conferences and so forth more green. Their website is greenmeetings. And this is interesting, .info. There aren't that many .info sites out there, but it's greenmeetings.info. So I would like to encourage you today to kind of, again, look not only with hotels, but with any companies that you do business with, check their websites and see if they have an environmental tab. Many companies now do have an environmental tab, and you can go down and see what kind of green certifications they have. Choose green because it's better for all of us, and it saves money for all of us in the long run. Fellow energy users and fellow water consumers, please pay attention and be green.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. That informed me quite well, and that just got me thinking the next time we have a masquerade, we should go to the ARIA. Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to have you here visiting the club. Now at this moment, we're going to